right, you hear that truck beeping? That means we're backing it up for another Shacknews Game of the Year 2022 deliberation. This is going to be a hot deliberation because we're talking best Nintendo Switch game, and boy, oh boy, were there a lot of good games on the Nintendo Switch this year. Just a ton of... I'm choking on all the Switch games that came out this year. Pardon me. There were just so many of them. I can't get them all down my gullet at once, but I'm going to try. We've got several nominations, and I think we just got to go for it. What do you all say?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Who would like to put out the first nomination?
I'll start. So Splatoon 3, I think, is such a great game on that Switch, and like Nintendo has always struggled to internet with Nintendo, and like Splatoon 3's has some minor problems, but apparently they've been fixed and it don't happen anymore. So like they're learning, and Splatoon 3 is a great example of that evolution of how bad the online services were, and specifically online games, like not their Switch service, but their online games, and how better they've gotten, specifically with Splatoon 3. I also love games that are like, Kirby's on this list too, but like non-violent games that you can play competitively that aren't overly gory or violence or what have you, that are really safe to give to like kids of any age. I love that too about Splatoon 3. So my vote is Splatoon 3. Lots of customization, lots of fun stuff, wave-based enemy modes, online competitive modes. Splatoon 3.
Yeah, I think I've said this in other categories, but Splatoon 3 is my first Splatoon, and I'm loving it. It is so excited. It makes me wish I had gotten on the Splatoon bandwagon earlier. But from what I've heard, this is by far like the most polished iteration of it. And I believe the netcode's been solid on the last couple of Splatoons, Greg. Yeah, okay, Smash has the netcode's not so great, but a game like Splatoon where it's all about the online play, I think they take more time to focus on that and make sure it's good.
Yeah, funny fact, Splatoon 2 precedes Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's release. Smash Bros. Ultimate came out in 2018. Splatoon 2 came out in 2017. And that's correct. They have always had pretty dang good, solid netcode in Splatoon. I don't know why they can't figure it out for Ultimate in the way they do for Splatoon. It's probably some peer-to-peer thing, but I don't know. Either way, Splatoon has the excellent netcode, and it always has.
And just so much fun to play either competitively or co-op. Like Salmon Run is a blast if you got like 3 friends lying around.
Yeah, everything about that game is fun. Even the story mode is enjoyable.
It's the first story mode where they went open world-ish, and I think it's a lot better for it. They're using more of that Mario 64 formula, and I think it's really better off for it.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. That is a great comparison right there, Ozzy. I didn't even think of that, but you're right. It is totally that thing where you open more and more of the world, and you kind of choose which little challenges to go through and do your thing with. Yeah, man, we have I'm gonna throw out my nomination. God damn it, it's tough because the Kirby game is so damn good. But I love the Bayonetta series. I got to go with Bayonetta 3. I've been waiting so long for this game, patiently. I think Bayonetta 3 got announced when I first started here at Shacknews, and that was about 5 years ago, actually, now. So, yeah, it's been waiting half a decade for this game. Well, longer since Bayonetta 2 came out before that. So, yeah, it's been a long time coming, and it's so good. It did such a good job. The combat is better than ever. The plot is still very ridiculous and over the top, but adding kaiju into Bayonetta is such it changes the combat so much, and it's such a ridiculous over the top thing, really, that it completely fits with sort of the tone of the game as well. yeah, I don't know. I've always had a thing for the Bayonetta series, and this is just top notch Bayonetta action, like through and through. Can't really say enough good things about it. And Morgan has pointed out there's a giant kitty cat on a unicycle with an umbrella that is your homie throughout the whole thing.
The visuals in that game are just always mind blowing.
Yeah.
And now that you command giant kaijus out of your hair, it gets even trippier.
Oh, so the kaiju, you do summon the kaijus with your hair. What's great is while you summon the kaijus, like you can't attack or anything or move, like, but Bayonetta like jazzercises to while she's
I
controlling the
noticed that.
demons.
I was like, what is
Yeah.
she doing?
So it's part of this. So like they show her in a cutscene doing the summoning spell, and that's basically the summoning spell is one of her funky ass dances. So like you've got like Bayonetta and a hair leotard dancing while like a giant Godzilla from hell is tearing up creatures for you.
And beautiful
like
series.
Yeah, and like and oh my god, the character and enemy designs in the Bayonetta series are some of the best ever. You don't face off against angels this time. It's like robot synthoids from, I think they're from another dimension, right, Morgan? Yeah. Yeah, so it's like a bunch of new character and creature designs, and there are some very like huge, ginormous, over the top things. Like even the first level is just insane. As you're like playing through a city that's being flooded by like a giant whale monster. And there's some fighting on pizza delivery truck. I don't know. Just play the damn game if you haven't already. But Bayonetta 3, that's my nomination. I'm sticking with it. Who would like to go next?
Like, what if I told you that in an alternate universe, you could not just fight on a pizza truck? You could maybe engulf that truck in your mouth and then become that pizza truck. Well,
that's
you would
too
think
many
that's
carbs.
pretty cool. No. Objection.
Too many
Sure,
carbs.
I don't have a gavel, but objection. The thing is, you don't do that. You inject an 18-wheeler at one point. Like, I'm talking about Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which is one of the most just inventive and delightful 3D platformer since Super Mario Odyssey 5 years ago. In fact, I mentioned another deliberation that this game to me is even better than Mario Odyssey. It took the Cappy idea. These games were probably in development at the same time, but it kind of took the Cappy idea and just turned to Kirby and was like, well, you could do that. Just eat things and become things like you always have, but now become other things, become vending machines, become cars, become 18-wheelers. Morgan and other Kirby fans here could probably speak to this even better than I could, but I had a smile plastered on my face the whole time I was playing Kirby. That game is just a blast from beginning to end.
Yeah, it's not the biggest challenge in the world to play the Kirby games, but it's balanced so well. It's just the right amount to keep you moving forward comfortably almost. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No,
but
it does. Like, platforming is my favorite genre, and I've also mentioned before, like, I prefer 2D, but it's not that I need games to be difficult. That's just kind of, what a lot of us grew up on. Like the Mario Brothers games, they were pretty difficult, right? But like Kirby is just super fun and creative, and I think the challenge was almost posed to the developers, like, hey, what kind of neat inventive stuff can we come up with to take Kirby's powers, its main power, to the next level? And to me, they really succeeded with Kirby and the Forgotten Land. It's just every level, every world feels inventive, and I love to see that in a platformer.
Yeah, Kirby. Like, we've talked about Kirby before, but Kirby's amazing. You've talked about how much you love the vending machine Kirby. Yeah, just so fucking cute, so goddamn cute and adorable and fun. It really is wholesome. I don't know how else to describe it. It's a wholesome game.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way of putting it. And I know a lot of other people on staff have enjoyed Kirby and the Forgotten Land, myself included. Great nomination. So many. It's all of these are Nintendo games. Like Platinum is the developer for Bayonetta 3, but it's all published through Nintendo.
Yeah.
There's still another one.
There is still another one.
And it started out way back in January, so it was really easy to forget about. But yeah, we've had a couple of Pokemon games this year. And whatever you want to say about Scarlet and Violet, this is not about Scarlet and Violet. We're talking about Pokemon Legends Arceus. And this was a different kind of Pokemon game. This wasn't so much about like quote unquote catching them all, although that is an idea, but this was like more of an open world adventure where like the RPG battles are a component to it, but you're straight up trying to catch the Pokemon that are out in the wild, like by just chucking Pokeballs at them. You're trying to find giant alpha creatures that are out in the world that chase you down whenever they see you. And you're trying to get to the bottom of a weird curse that leads you into some of the funkiest boss battles that I've seen in a Pokemon game ever. So like they dared to be different with this, with its setting and with its premise and with just what you do in a Pokemon game. And for that, I really respected Arceus a lot, and it was actually probably my favorite Switch game of the year.
Donovan, you reviewed that Arceus for us. Yeah, it seemed like the open world was really the big thing here, right? It was like sort of a new beginning for Pokemon games in that sense, right?
Yeah, the free exploration was really cool. Catching Pokemon in the overworld was like a revolution. Just being able to sneak up in the grass, crouched to a Pokemon, hit it in the back with a Pokeball, and catch it just in one fluid motion. Never got old. Just exploring, discovering new creatures, like Ozzy mentioned, the Alpha Pokemon. Just a very refreshing breakup from the formula.
And I loved that, like, if a catch failed, especially with an alpha Pokemon, they can come and kill you. Like, Pokemon were never able to kill you before, and now they can. And it gets a little terrifying at points.
Yeah, physically attacked.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. We've had this talk about this before, but you didn't do like an all Psyduck team, Donovan. So I feel like you really didn't experience. Ozzy, did you do a Psyduck team?
Vicious, man. Like you've never experienced fear until you've seen like 2 or 3 Psyduck chasing after you, man.
Oh man, I would be excited about that. I'd be like, all right, I'm about to make 3 new friends that are all Psyducks.
I'd get mad.
Man, I mean, you gotta, just give them some CBD for their headache or something, or a vape pen. They'll be your friend after that. Well, there you go. I mean, goddamn, a lot of good nominations this year. Like,
one more left.
And there was one more. What? Did I miss one? Oh my goodness!
How can we not talk about
that I did.
Rabbids, Sparks of Hope?
I don't know.
It was, in my opinion, the best Mario game this year. Ubisoft hit it out of the park with this premise in the first go. It surprised everybody, and then just improved upon what they did right with the Sparks of Hope. I love all of the strategy options in this game. I love that they make the Rabbids less annoying and more actually charming and endearing in this game, in my opinion. I could never stand the Rabbids for long in previous games. I thought they were a very annoying gimmick. but in this particular instance, I enjoy Rabbid Peach. I enjoy Rabbid Mario and Luigi. They are fun characters to have around. And building strategies around them and with all the options you have in this game as you go through battles and go through worlds and explore and try to find all the sparks is really fun. There's endless amounts of options and synergies you can put together with the way that their weapons work, the way that you can build up their skill trees, the way that you collect these sparks that give them different abilities and different skills and different qualities. And it really is just like probably one of the most solid strategy games for all ages on the Nintendo Switch right now.
Nice.
This is
I
kind of
mean-
obvious, and I mean, maybe sounds a little weird, but I draw a lot of comparisons between this and Marvel Snap, honestly, which is a compliment for me because it's all about like building your team. It's all about deploying a strategy and thinking ahead and like trying to pull off a certain maneuver. And I really enjoy that. And then you mix in like the exploration aspects of it and some like little puzzle solving and whatnot. And what it's, I love it too, TJ. It's definitely my kind of thing, and I think it's perfect like experience for a Nintendo Switch. Not that other games on this list aren't, but yeah, I think it's pretty dang cool.
Yeah, for sure. And it's the only game this year that lets me build an entire team and strategy around Bowser with a bazooka.
A fact that you will hammer into death. You know, I realized I forgot to make one major argument for Bayonetta 3. David, do you know what that argument is?
I don't have a clue. What is it?
It's the third game in the series.
Oh, that's also scientifically sound. Jeez.
That is very sad. TJ's. This is only the second game
It's
in the
true.
Mario Rabbids series, but what I love about these games is they feel like my first XCOM. You know, it's a strategy game that you could play with your kids, or you can let your kids play, and they can figure it out without being too horribly punished. Because you know, like a lot of those games will feature like permadeath issues or things like that. But you know, something bright and colorful where you're Mario, it's a good way to sort of start there
Well,
for
from there,
a younger audience. Yeah.
well, yeah, I agree. And the interesting thing is, the compelling thing I think for older players is that it does take the training wheels off. Like a lot of classic Mario games, it starts easy, and then once you have a handle on the fundamentals, it will kind of rise to the challenge that XCOM, Stellaris, StarCraft fans, fans of any strategy game, but particularly turn-based ones, would be looking for. I think that's great. Also, Blake, Kirby and the Forgotten Land is not the third one of those. It's like the 12th or 15th or something, and they just keep getting better. So there's some science to your science.
Man, well, it's different every time, right? Like Kirby games
It is.
are like there's been a few games that were like direct sequels, but each time they sort of changed the formula for Kirby.
They're very experimental. Like Kirby
Yeah.
1 compared to Epic Yarn compared to Forgotten Land. There's like a through line, like Mario, you're still running and jumping, but it's very different forms and stuff. So
Yeah. But I mean, Kirby is just a giant, adorable pink ball of fluff. It's like I feel like the design of Kirby is very similar to Hello Kitty. It's very minimalist. Only a few real defining characteristics to it, but it's also just very cute. A very like Japan character, so to speak, like minimalist design, adorable. There you go. I mean, these are all great games. I think any one of them could deserve the title of best Nintendo Switch game of 2022. But there can be only one. All right. Let's see. Well, Steve, let's start with you, buddy. Let's just make it easy on me.
Okay. I'll go with Pokemon Legends. The open world concept set the stage for future Pokemon games. So that was kind of like their first dry run. So I'm going with Pokemon Legends.
All right, David L. Craddock.
I mentioned another review that I hadn't always been in lockstep with the Kirby series, and I've talked a lot about Sam selling me on games, but Morgan sold me on two. The review of Kirby and the review of Sonic Frontiers got me excited about those games, and I just had an absolute blast with Kirby and the Forgotten Land, so that gets my vote.
All right, Donovan.
We'll go with Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Greg.
Sticking with Splatoon 3.
TJ.
It's really hard for me to vote against Bowser and Sparks of Hope, but that point about 3 the being a third game resonated with me. I'm gonna vote for Splatoon 3.
I knew it.
Oh man,
You
voting
sick-
against Bowser and a
you s-
bazooka.
You sick so-and-so. Oh, no. Using my own logic against me. Wow. Ozzy.
I'm gonna say Pokemon Legends, but this was a great field. What a great year as far as the
Yeah.
Switch.
Oh man, such good games. Just shows like people talking about, oh, the Steam Deck is something Switch. It's like, nah, dog. Like these games crushed it. All of these games crushed it. Right, Morgan?
Yes.
But which game crushed it the most in your opinion?
I'm going to go with Kirby and the Forgotten Land, but also give an honorable mention to Bayonetta. It was really hard to choose between the two, but I have to give it to Kirby because it's Kirby.
All right. Bill Lavoie.
Kirby.
Man, I'm basically right where you are with this, Morgan. I love Bayonetta so much, but like, I mean, Kirby and the Forgotten Land is just so Nintendo. It's so like classic Nintendo. It's so why I still love Nintendo. Like God knows how many years later, several decades. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, I mean, I've been playing Kirby games since like I got the first one on the Game Boy, too. You know, it's just it takes you to that happy place, and I know Asif agrees with me because he also voted for Kirby in the Forgotten Land, for best Nintendo Switch game. Denny voted for Bayonetta 3. And let's see, who did our own Sam Chandler vote for? Sam voted for Splatoon 3. Not surprising, given how much he loves that game. Like I said, all of these fantastic nominations, such good games, but there can be only one, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and that is your best Nintendo Switch game of 2022.